Welcome to this episode of Council Bluffs Today, presented by Waldstein Plumbing. I am Todd Studer, and as you can see, we are without a guest today, but that is for a reason, because this is the anniversary, yesterday was the anniversary of when I quit smoking. It's now been 17 years, but before it was 17, it was 15, and before it was 15, it was 10, and a year, and 6 months, and 3 months, and 1 day without a cigarette when you go back that far. And oftentimes, during that first year, when I would tell people that I had quit smoking and it was a smoker that was talking to me, they would ask, hopefully, well, how did you do it? Thinking that somehow I had cracked the magic code and I had figured out how to quit smoking without having any withdrawals, without having any setbacks or anything like that. And this is not the first time that I've talked about it on the show. Usually it's right around August 10th, which is what the quit time is. And so I'm going to give you my secret. I'm going to tell you exactly how I quit and how you can too if you are still a smoker. I saw that what was I seeing? 42 million Americans are smokers. That number's a lot higher than I thought it would be, but still that many people still smoking. And when you think about how much it costs, because 17 years ago, I thought that was crazy expensive, and now it's about double what I was paying then. I took a look at what's called a quit meter, and I can plug in the time and the date that I quit smoking and how many cigarettes that I would average per day. And it told me that as of now, I have not smoked over 90,000 cigarettes. I have saved over $27,000 in what I would have paid for cigarettes. And here's the thing too, I didn't smoke a lot. I was at about 3/4 of a pack a day, which is about 15 cigarettes a day. And that is a lot, but not nearly as much as what some people smoke. So that was something that I often thought that I needed to do, but I didn't know how I could do it, because, I think it was Mark Twain that said, quitting smoking is the easiest thing in the world to do. I've done it 1,000 times. And there's a lot of truth in that. But there's also truth in the fact that you can quit. You do have the ability to quit. You do have the ability to quit without nicotine replacement and all of that. The opportunity for you is there. So I want to talk to you today about that. First, going back to August 10th, 2009, my son was not born yet, but he was on the way. And I just had this feeling that I really needed to quit. And for the 18 months prior to that, every time I go outside to smoke, which I never did smoke inside, but every time I would go outside to smoke, I was just mad at myself that I couldn't quit. And that's how I knew that I really needed to figure out a way of doing this. 9:30 at night on August 10th, 2009, I'm sitting out on the deck. It's a warm night, so I'm sitting there and I pull a cigarette out of the pack. I was a Marlboro menthol light guy. That's what I smoked. And I pulled one out of the pack, and it was a box, by the way, and it was the last one that was in there, and I didn't have any more. And I was talking to my friend Neil on the phone, and I told him, you know what? I think I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to try to quit again. And he said, good luck. He was a smoker too. He didn't ridicule me or give me points 2 or 4 against either way. He just said good luck. And I woke up the next morning and made it into work and hadn't smoked. And then this is where that nicotine replacement thing came in. I went and got some of that gum, the kind that you take a couple of bites and then you put it next to your gums there, and it's supposed to put nicotine into you. And it does work. And I made it through the first day. And then the second day, I was like, well, okay, we'll see whether or not I make it through today or not. And I made it. And this went on for 10 days until on the 10th day, it was about 4 in the afternoon. And I realized I hadn't had any of that nicotine gum yet. And I thought, well, if I have made it this far, I'd just be done with it altogether. So I stopped using the nicotine gum. And it was like I just took the Etch-a-Sketch upside down and shook it and started all over again. And I was craving them just as bad as I ever did. I was cranky. I was incredibly cranky about it, just a really short fuse. And I was back struggling again. But I had told myself and convinced myself that this was my best shot at quitting, that it was never going to get any easier than this. And I had read a statistic a while before then that said 50% of people who smoke will die from a smoking-related illness. And here's the thing about that. A buddy of mine told me that C. Everett Koop, who was the Surgeon General back in the 80s, I'm not sure what time parameters, but he said that nicotine was a mind-altering drug. And that sounds kind of silly until you think about it. That 50%, I thought, oh, I can live with those odds. That's actually better than I thought it was. It's not everybody. So I got a 50% chance of these things not killing me. That's pretty good. What am I talking about? I look back at now at what my thinking was then. I used to be proud of the fact that I could smoke through bronchitis, which, by the way, I got 4 times a year back when I was a smoker. And it's like a point of pride with me. Why? Why would that be something to be proud of? But that's what nicotine can do to you because it conditions you. We know that regardless of whether our stress level, here, wherever it's at, let's just say this represents where our stress level is at. We smoke a cigarette and our stress level instantly drops down to here. Now, here's the thing, too, is that it doesn't matter where this is at. That ratio stays the same. So it always drops our stress level. But what we're not telling ourselves, and the reality of it is that the cigarettes artificially raise that. So that drop that we get when we give the hit of nicotine, that's just dropping it to where our normal would have been had we never been a smoker. But again, we're looking at that change and thinking that it's instant relief. Well, it's just because nicotine withdrawals have artificially raised the anxiety and the stress level, and that's all that has happened. And the problem, too, is when you quit, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There is no place where you can say, I just only have to make it 3 more days and then it's going to be over. Well, that doesn't exist either, because the only way to be able to see your progress, and this is true about a lot of things, but especially true about quitting smoking, the only way to be able to see your progress is by looking backward. And you say, here's where I was, here's where I am now. Because the changes from day to day are so small that we can't even notice them. So we can only see the difference when we look at a wide range of time. And that, again, was some of the tricks that I was using. Now, where did I learn these? Actually, I got involved with an online smoking cessation group on a website that no longer exists.
If you're looking for a laid-back spot with great food and even better company, it's the Mile Away on Old Lincoln Highway north of Council Bluffs. This family-run bar and grill is your go-to for mouth-watering wings, unbeatable weekly specials, and a welcoming atmosphere that feels like home. So, if you're catching a game, enjoying one of those specials, or just unwinding after a long day, the Mile Away has you covered. Open every day, Tuesday through Sunday at 8 for breakfast, and don't forget them at lunch and dinner time as well. It's the Mile Away, Old Lincoln Highway, north of Council Bluffs. Are you looking for something to do close to home? Go Local Iowa brings Southwest Iowa events together in one place, from live music and fundraisers to festivals, family activities, and community celebrations. It's also a place to discover local businesses and support the people who keep our communities moving. Before you make your weekend plans, check golocaliowa.org. Go Local Iowa. Find what's happening right here at home. Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get things back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke, and that can oftentimes lead to mold, and you may be left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. It's easy. You give Cindy Schmader a call with Service Master Restore by Schmader. Her phone number, 402-339-9911.
About.com was a big website back when I quit smoking in 2009, and they had a smoking cessation page on there. And I would go on and talk with other people, just chatting online, that were also quitting smoking. Some a day or two, some a month. Some even had quit years ago, but they were still part of this group because they wanted to be able to help others. And there was a little trick that we did inside of this group, and I'm not sure how it ever got started, but it was genius. We were allowed to put a single dot, like a graphic, underneath our name and our signature anytime that we posted after we'd been quit for 1 week. And then after we'd been quit for 2 weeks, 2 dots, 3 weeks, 3 dots, 4 weeks, 4 dots. And then after 4 weeks, it moved over to a month. So after you leave the 4 dots up for the 3 days until the end of the month, and then we would take the dots off and put a star, and the star represented quit for 1 month. And this is no cheating. You had to have not had a cigarette period in 1 month, and you could put that star there. And then after 2 months, you could put the second star, and you could do this all the way through up until you hit 1 year. And 1 year meant you took the 11 stars down because you didn't put the 12th one up for the end of the year, and you got to put a key. And that key was the key to the clubhouse. That's what it represented. And the clubhouse is the non-smoker clubhouse. We put it at a year, and I say we, somebody else invented all of this stuff. It was psychological. This was a way to have a goal that is a lot closer than some abstract, I don't crave cigarettes anymore. As that first month, as I would get closer to that week, I would look forward to being able to put that little dot underneath my signature. And everybody else that was a part of that group knew what it meant. And I wanted to be able to brag that I had done that. Now, it's on the honor system. You have to hold yourself accountable. But in my mind, why would I cheat? What purpose would it serve me? Because it wouldn't have been real, so I wouldn't have gotten the same effect out of it. I would look forward to that. And then after I'd been quit for a month and it started into the second month, then that date, that quit date of the 10th, was getting closer and closer. And that is what I looked forward to. So anytime that I would have a craving for a cigarette, which by the way would happen very strongly, I would think about being able to put that star there underneath my signature. And that is what progressed me on further. All of this is just psychological, but guess what? Quitting smoking takes 3 days for nicotine to get out of your system. 3 days. After that, it's 100% psychological. And many of you who are smokers know that, because I'm sure that you've quit. I don't know of any smoker that has never tried to quit. You know that those cravings last a lot longer than that. They say it comes in threes. The third day is the hardest. The third week is the hardest. The third month is the hardest. That was just kind of a little bit of a rule of thumb. And I found there would be a lot of accuracy in that. And getting around other people helped because other people were going through the same thing. There was a gentleman that I met originally from Iowa. I think he was originally from Ottumwa, and he now lived in Louisiana, and he was part of this group too. He had quit about 6 weeks ahead of me. And I just kind of mentally hitched my wagon to his. Said, well, he's still going. He's 6 weeks ahead of me. I can make it as far as he did. And it helped. You have to use things that are going to get you through the hard times, such as knowledge that a nicotine attack, a nicotine fit, a nicotine craving, whatever it is that you want to describe it that makes you just want to be able to reach for a cigarette and just make it all go away. Did you know that experience, that individual experience, lasts less time than it would take you to smoke a cigarette? That is true. And we tend to time shift in our mind when that's happening because every second seems like a minute. And it seems a lot longer than what it actually is. The other thing I would used to do was take a deep breath, get my lungs to where they felt expanded, and then exhale as if I was exhaling cigarette smoke. And that sometimes would trigger that calming effect in me. This is another trick that I did. But the main thing that I did that I was able to quit smoking, I just didn't smoke. Yeah, sounds like a cop-out, but it's true. I just didn't smoke. I didn't crave them any less than what you crave them if you go for 12 hours or a day without a cigarette. I went through the exact same thing. I just didn't smoke. I just wrote it out. And with the understanding that this was my penance for having picked up a cigarette in the first place. This is what I did to myself back when I was 18 and smoked enough cigarettes to get addicted to them. This was the price that I had to pay. And I had to pay it. There is no shortcut. There is no way to go through this without experiencing the withdrawals. And you can tell yourself you're not strong enough, but that's a lie. And that's the cigarettes lying to you. You are strong enough. Just don't smoke. That's as simple as that. Crave a cigarette, go for a walk. If you're craving a cigarette, get up and make dinner. Rearrange the furniture in your living room. Do something that will take your mind off of it until that craving passes, and it will pass. 100% guarantee you. There's never been a single person ever in the history of the world that has gone into a nicotine attack and it never goes away. That just doesn't occur. So you can quit and you can get through it. You just have convinced yourself you're not strong enough. And that's an easy thing to say because we want to justify our own behavior. But trust me, you are strong enough because I'm not any stronger than you are. And I made it through it and I can do it. Simple for me now to talk like this because I've been off them for 17 years. I'm a non-smoker. It's never a question for me when I walk into a gas station, okay, I'm not buying cigarettes today. Doesn't even enter into my mind. It did for a long time after I quit, probably a couple of years. Every time I walked in a gas station, that's what went through my mind. All right, I'm a non-smoker. I'm not here to buy cigarettes. And then I would go and get whatever it was that I was in there to get and then get out of there. The cravings get less and less. The length of time of each one shrinks. But again, the difference is so small that you can't really see the change from one day to the next. It all feels the same, but it's not the same. So again, I encourage you, just stop. Pick a date and just stop. Unfortunately, that smoking cessation page that I was a part of doesn't exist anymore. However, I'll make a promise to you. If you need a little encouragement, use my email address. Make a comment underneath here. I'll reach out to you. And if you need somebody to talk to while you're going through it, I'd be happy to exchange some messages with you. Because that's all it was for me. No one on that page, I never met anyone on there face to face. Not a single time. But I do credit them for getting me through the hard times and being a support. Twice during that first year, actually twice during the first 6 months, I bought a pack of cigarettes.
Council Bluffs Today brought to you by GLI Insurance Group. Summer in Southwest Iowa means road trips, backyard projects, storms, lake weekends, and a whole lot more time on the go. Before the season gets too busy, make sure your insurance is ready for it. GLI Insurance Group can help you review your home, auto, business, farm, and life insurance so you know what is covered before you need it. Local people, local service, and coverage built around your life. Contact GLI Insurance Group today and head into summer with a little more peace of mind. Council Bluffs Today is brought to you by Keith Jones, your Edward Jones financial advisor in Council Bluffs. Learn how he can help you reach your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com for more. Edward Jones, member SIPC. S&B Country Kennel is the top spot in Southwest Iowa when you need to know your dog will receive only the best. Boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park over an acre in size. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check with them about adoption possibilities. sbcountrykennel.com, that's country spelled with a K, located just west of I-29 on Bungie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs.
I never opened them, but I did buy them. First time, I was working for a radio network in Omaha, and they were sitting on my desk for a few days, and I just fortunately had just enough willpower to not open it. And eventually I picked them up. I walked back, and this is an on-air name. This isn't her real name, but Christina Cooper worked in the back. She was doing an adult contemporary show, and I went back there and I knew she smoked. And I just took the pack of cigarettes, opened the studio door, set it there on the table next to her, and she looked at me and she smiled and she said, "Good job." And that was the end of that conversation. The second time was after my son was born, and I went and bought a pack of cigarettes, and they were in the glove compartment of my car. I drove a Bonneville back then, and they sat in the car for a while until a friend of mine came. That same friend, actually, Neil, that I was talking to that day, that the day that I stopped smoking, when I smoked my last one, I was on the phone with him. He came, he still smoked, and he was at, "Man, I'm out of cigarettes." And it was crazy cold that weekend. I mean, 10 below zero. He's from Georgia, so he's not at all used to it, and he didn't want to go anywhere. And he just complaining he didn't have any. And I said, "Oh, I've got a pack in my car. You can have them." And that's how I got rid of those. I'm not proud of helping other people keep smoking, but they weren't trying to quit. This was just a way for me to be able to get rid of what I'd done. And I've never bought one since. I can tell you with absolute certainty that since August 10th of 2009, I have not smoked a cigarette, not a single one. I have not smoked a cigar, not a single one. I've been places. I went to a cigar bar with some friends not that long ago. I don't want to take the chance, so I leave them alone. And as I said, cravings are 100% gone. But I will tell you, still to this day, every once in a while, I'll have a dream that I have started smoking again. And the dream is very real. And I will wake up and feel like I have just completely blew it. And then slowly realize it was just a dream. And no, I wasn't actually smoking again. There's no chance. It's just, there's no chance now that I ever go back, because it was too hard to go through it. Yeah, it is hard. Sorry, it's hard to quit smoking, but it's supposed to be. So suck it up and quit. Just understand it's going to be hard. You've got to go through some stuff in order to get rid of them. But then, how much money are you not going to be spending? And what do you think you're going to do with that money? The quit meter that I looked at said that $27,000 that I didn't spend, had I invested it with, say, an Edward Jones guy, which, by the way, is I got some that are good friends of mine, and I'd been able to do about 7%. Well, that would have been about twice. It would have been about $56,000 total had I invested that money. But still, $27,000 on its own. That's a significant amount. So this is what's just going out into the air. Reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you. I'd be happy to give you encouragement if you are struggling with that. But I know for me, it changed my life. My sense of smell came back. And then I had to go around apologizing to people because I never realized how much cigarette smoke they could smell on me all that time, because I was nose blind to it. I can now smell someone smoking 2 cars ahead of me on the interstate. I can tell they're smoking because I can smell it coming into the car. That's, my sense of smell has come back. I don't get sick anymore. As I said, I was bronchitis 4 times a year. It was pretty consistent. I don't get sick anymore. Very, very rarely. but definitely not like that. It's a life changer. And I would encourage you to pick a date and just give them up because you don't need them. The cigarettes think they're telling you that you do, but you don't. You're stronger than that. And I'm going to celebrate with you when you succeed. All right, that wraps up today's show. Again, probably do this once a year around August 10th. That's just how it is, because it's the day that it's the day I got my life back after a really long time. 18 years I smoked. 18 years. Next year, it'll be that long since I stopped. I'm looking forward to that one too. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Thanks to Waldstein Plumbing for being our presenting sponsor on Council Bluffs today. If you have a topic for a show, leave a comment here. Say, hey, have you talked to this person? Or what about this type of thing here? Love to be able to do it. We stay away from the controversial stuff. This is a place for good news. This is not a place to generate clicks based off of whatever might be perceived as going bad in the community. I stay away from that stuff. Plenty of outlets for you if that's what it is you're looking for. It's just not here. So leave me a comment about something that you would like to see here on the show. Also, don't forget to like, share, follow, even subscribe. That helps push this information out even further. And it's completely free for you to do. So thank you in advance for doing that. My name is Todd Studer, and we'll see you next time.